the Dorset Council Licensing Subcommittee. My name's Councillor Emma Parker and I am Chairman of the Licensing Committee, and I would like to welcome everybody to this virtual meeting. I would like to go over some housekeeping and ask that you please follow ground rules for this meeting. It's a public meeting and it will be streamed live on YouTube. Only speak when you're invited to speak by the chair. If you have not been introduced before speaking, then please introduce yourself. Mute your microphone and turn your cameras off when you're not speaking. The only people that will remain on screen will be the three councillors that are on the subcommittee today. After each party has spoken, the chair will go around all parties, starting with members of the subcommittee to see if any questions they have for the speaker at the time. There is a raise your hand function, but if you've actually given your right to speak, then obviously we will come to you within the order of the meeting. There is a chat bar. This chat bar is not monitored by us three councillors. It is monitored by the Democratic Service Officer, but it is literally there just for any technical issues that you may have throughout the meeting. Can you please keep all background noise to a minimum and obviously turn off any notifications that you have on any of your devices? Thank you. So I'm going to do some introductions now. If I could introduce my fellow councillors that are on the committee with me this morning. Guys, I don't mind which one goes first.
Good morning, I'm Councillor Derek Beer from Shaftesbury.
Good morning, I'm David Taylor, Councillor David Taylor from Chelmsford St Mary and Dorset Town Council as well, and on the Licensing Committee. Thank
you, councillors. I would now like to introduce the council officers, and if I could start with the committee clerk, please.
Morning, I'm Elaine Tibble and I'm from Democratic Services.
Thank you. And then our legal representative.
Good morning, I'm Lara Autry. I'm a solicitor for Dorset Council.
Thank you. And then if I could then go to the report author, and that's our licensing team leader.
Good morning, Chair. I'm Aileen Powell, the licensing team leader.
Thank you. I will now ask the parties and their representatives in attendance to introduce themselves, and I will start with the applicant. Do we have the applicant?
Good morning, Chair. The applicant has decided not to attend this hearing. They have made a statement which I will explain in my introduction.
Thank you very much. And have we got any responsible authorities? I believe, do we have the police with us?
Yes, we do have the police.
Yeah, sorry. Good morning, Chris Mead from the Weymouth Neighbourhood Policing Team.
Thank you. And have we got John?
Yes, John Bean here.
Oh, I think we lost you there, John.
Hello.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you're still there. That's all good.
I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any person who has made a representation who has completed the notice of attendance and stated that they wish to speak, obviously that was all done in advance you would have got a notice of attendance. So do we actually have, I noticed that we have one representation. Do we have that party here?
No, that party has not indicated that they wish to attend the hearing or speak, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we will now elect a chair for this meeting. So do I have a proposal from the members of the subcommittee as to who's chairing?
I should like to propose Councillor Emma Parker, please.
And I'd like to second that, Emma Parker.
Thank you. Do we have any apologies?
Nope. There's no apologies as such, Chairman. But just for clarification, David Taylor has taken the place on the committee for Councillor Heatley because the application's in Councillor Heatley's ward.
Thank you for that, Elaine. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any declarations of interest?
No, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. And do we have any urgent items?
No, we don't, Chair.
No, and we don't have any exempt business. Okay, thank you. So I will now go over to Aileen, our licensing team leader, for an outline of the report that we have in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I don't intend to repeat anything that is already in the report because I know you will have read all that. We have sent out some supplementary papers, which were a submission from the police. Those documents are not in the public domain and therefore they shouldn't really be discussed in this hearing. If there's anything that's very specific in those documents that needs to be discussed, you will need to go into a private session to discuss it. The other thing I wanted to just clarify was the condition on the licence, which I have just lost off my screen. The condition on the licence refers to high strength alcohol lagers, beers and spirit mixers. So it's not a bottle of vodka, it would be a specific spirit mixer. I'm sure Chris Mead and John can explain what those are much better than I can. And that's all I want to say for introduction.
Okay, thank you. Councillors, do you have any questions for Aileen?
No, Chairman.
No, Chairman, thank you.
Okay, and then from the responsible authority, do you have any questions for Aileen?
Not from me.
Not for me. No.
Okay, thank you. So as we don't have the applicant with us, I will move on to our responsible bodies, and obviously we have Sergeant Chris Mead and John Bean here. Is there anything that you would like to add to the representation that you've made? And obviously I would be grateful if you could just clarify the condition for us, as Aileen said that you could do that potentially a bit better than she might be able to explain. I'm sure she would have done a good job.
John, sorry, you carry on.
I was going to say, I'll let Chris lead on this, councillor.
Okay.
The application, although submitted by myself, is mainly on behalf of the neighbourhood team at Weymouth, and Chris will have far more experience having policed that area, the difficulty he has, and why the representation has been made. So I'll put it over to Chris.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. So our representation is based on the impact that we feel that this premises has had within the local area. The neighbourhood team primarily looks at long-term problem solving and focuses very much on vulnerability, and that includes young people and the causes of vulnerability to those young people. For a period of time now, we've had reports from our partner agencies suggesting and indicating that the premises in question has been involved in selling alcohol to underage persons. Admittedly, that is somewhat anecdotal in terms of the number of incidents we actually have recorded on police systems, but generally that information is coming from one of our colleagues within the Cheswell Family Partnership Zone, Rachel Janaway, who's also present. Her role is very much working with young people out on the ground. So when she comes to us with information suggesting that as in this case, alcohol is being sold from a premises to young persons, we take that as reliable information. That has previously been followed up with referrals to trading standards for test purchase operations. And I know our colleagues from the licensing teams have also paid visits on the back of the information that we've received. Clearly, selling alcohol to young people it does impact on their vulnerabilities. There's also the impact on the antisocial behaviour that their behaviours cause, both in the immediate vicinity of the premises and somewhat further afield. So in this case, we were seeing, specifically over the summer, groups of youths drinking strong strength or extra strength cider. I think it was a Henry Weston's, which is, I believe, an 8% cider. And again, the information we were receiving is that was being sold at the location. So that was then having an impact on our resources, because we were having to deal with the antisocial behaviour and the fallout from that. Clearly, the community reports incidents to us, so we're responding to that. And then there's the sort of the health aspect to it as well. So I'm aware that in the past there have been causes for concern from parents where their children have potentially either been been and managed to buy alcohol themselves, or it's being bought for them from the premise. And then they've obviously turned up in a highly intoxicated state and requiring hospital treatment on at least one occasion that I'm aware of. So that's our main reason for opposing the application. So we are just concerned that despite there would appear to be some attempts to improve, and I think on the last visit, the licensing carried out back in September, they were satisfied that the license conditions were being adhered to, certainly at that point. But we've seen over a longer period of time that alcohol continues to be served, or believed to be continues to be served, specifically that super strength alcohol to young people in Weymouth.
Okay. You're on mute, Emma.
Sorry, thank you. Can I obviously just ask with regards to that that condition of number 10 of no super strength beer, lagers, ciders or spirit mixers of 6.5 alcohol by volume or above shall be sold at the premises. So what is it? What actually is exempt from them that they can't sell? Are we talking spirits or?
I will refer that back to my licensing colleagues. I have to say.
Thank you.
It's John Bean here again. The condition is basically to stop the sale primarily of single cans of super strength beer, super strength lager. That's mainly why that condition is there. It is on a number of licenses. Primarily, historically, it was to do with the homeless community who were obviously buying single and causing issues in certain locations, which is why that one exists. But it still applies, obviously, to young people as well, and those who are underage. So that's the basic reason of why that condition is there and doesn't sit solely on this license. If there's anything more you wish to ask, then please do.
Yeah, no, thanks for that, John. That's it, explained it explained it well enough for me. Thank you. Aileen.
What I would say about the bit that you're querying is about the spirit mixers bit. My belief is that was to stop the very strong, wicked type of drink. So the drinks that you'd get in a bottle that were a mixture of a spirit and a mixer. Particularly, so it was a particular concern at certain times, depending on the fad of the moment.
So, like the alco pop side of
it is, yes, like an alco pop, yes, yeah. So it wouldn't affect a pure bottle of vodka. It wouldn't affect the sale of a pure bottle of sherry or anything like that. But it will kick in with any of those alco pop mixer sort of things.
Okay, thank you. Councillors, do you have any questions for either Sergeant Chris Mead or John Bean?
Yes, please.
David.
Yeah, thank you, Emma. I'm just looking at your report on the file regarding what your objections are. Do you happen to know what the connections is with the people underage drinking? Are they members of family and friends that they know, or is it completely separate to that measure?
Well, to my understanding, there's no specific connection. It is just a number of youths who obviously know or would appear to know where they can get alcohol. There's no familial connections to that location or to others, as far as I'm aware.
And you say in the area, Chapel Hay, there's been serious problems with regarding related alcohol incidents.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, Chapel Hay, I'm not sure if you know aware of the area, but obviously that is one ward area within Weymouth. Very nearby is the Marsh, which falls within the Western ward areas, and we see considerable antisocial behaviour within the Marsh. We get regular calls from the public regarding groups of youths causing issues both there and equally on the Rodwell Trail, all of which are within five minutes walk of where the premises is.
Yeah, but also the fact it's like we in Dorchester, we have a restriction order within drinking within the town centre. You're not allowed to do it. You can purchase, but you can't drink. Have you got that sort of conditions in the area there as well?
No, there is a PSPO for the town centre, but again, that condition it's not a blanket ban on consumption of alcohol. Obviously, it has to be associated with antisocial behaviour as well. As I'm sure you're aware, that the issue that we tend to have is that when a police officer turns up and to engage with these groups of youth, they don't tend to stay around and want to talk to us. So it's very difficult to actually enforce anything from a policing point of view. But obviously the problem is that they're getting hold of the alcohol in the first place.
Do you have come across looking at the CCTV lack of position within the premises itself and also outside, so we can actually monitor what's going on?
There's no central town centre CCTV up there, and I know that the CCTV within the premises was an issue earlier in the summer. One of my colleagues was required to go up there for an unrelated matter and found that the CCTV system wasn't working. But I'm assured that's been addressed now by the reports that the licensing teams have produced.
Okay, well, I welcome that. If it is fixed, then we can stop the problem. Thank you.
If it's okay with councillors and everyone on the committee, obviously we do have Rachel here, who is here on representation of the police, and Rachel has raised her hand, David, I believe on a question that you might have had. So if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to invite Rachel in, and if you have any specific questions for Rachel, is that okay with everybody? Yeah,
that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, thank you. So hi,
you're welcome.
Put my camera on. Hi, I'm Rachel Janaway, so I'm the youth worker for the Chesil locality. It was just to reiterate Chris's answer to Councillor Taylor in response to if there was any sort of family links to the area. I just wanted to share that obviously I've spent the last 6 months generally doing a lot of detached outreach work in Weymouth throughout the sort of COVID pandemic as a way to sort of reach our young people. And I have worked with young people that live the other side of Weymouth to where the shop is at Chapelay, that identify that as a shop that they will travel to because they are able to access alcohol from there. And it's been different pockets of young people. It's not just one core group of young people that are utilising that property. And there's not really many kind of links to the area other than the shop. So just to sort of reinforce what Chris was saying in terms of the context, has been named by lots of different pockets of young people from different areas of the town. Along with a couple of other shops as well, which I've obviously flagged as well. But yeah, I just wanted to reinforce that point.
Thank you, Rachel. I greatly appreciate that. That's good COVID work. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor, did you have any further questions?
No, I'm glad to see that it is being monitored effectively, and that the fact is we have our eyes on it, and the conditions we need to be adhering to is the fact is, are they doing their job properly? It doesn't look that way.
Thank you. Councillor Derek Beer.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I think my questions have been answered, but obviously, as we all know, if you get a shop in a locality, young people travel a long distance. The message goes out, and they'll go there, and I find it soft and easy to do. Have the police or the neighbourhood teams tried the educational approach in the past with the premises and the warnings? I'm sure you have. You've been in and done what you have to do. And I know about the test purchases, that all works. Have you been working as well over recent months to bring the place into line or warning through education?
Yeah, I mean, from the neighbourhood team point of view, yes, we visited along with colleagues from the licensing team earlier in the year, and I know that they've made follow-up visits again as a result of some of the issues identified on that initial visit. So we will happily continue to work alongside partners to encourage and support the licensed premises to adhere with their conditions, and hopefully prove that they are able to adhere with that licensing condition.
And just one more thing. I know perhaps that English may not be the first language. There's no question they don't understand what they need to be doing. That's quite clear to the people who run the premises. That they've understood everything. They understand the rules and they understand everything that should be before them. They couldn't say, "Sorry, we missed that," or "We didn't understand that," or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, without having been to the location personally, I can only go on what's based in the reports, but it would seem that there's been enough visits for those issues to have been addressed. I'd pass that back to John, I think, who's possibly been most recently.
Yes, Councillor Beer. I went in September with Sam Spracklen, following up issues regarding the CCTV, and I can confirm to you that the DPS and her husband are fully aware of what their responsibilities are. I've made visits at least 2 or 3 times this year, really to re-emphasise the issues that have been brought before you today. So I can say that they are fully aware of what they need to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. I just have one question. I don't know who would be best placed to answer this. When we talk around the sale of alcohol to underage, what sort of do we know what sort of age range that this drink is being sold to? I mean, are we talking sort of teenagers, or are we talking sort of, you know, youths that are sort of just on the cusp of sort of 17? I don't know if you've got that information.
I think, and I'm sure Rachel would confirm this, we are talking sort of early teens through to the later teenagers. So it is, you know, it's not just that sort of 17, nearly 18. It is a whole range of ages.
Yeah, just jump in. It is sort of 15, 16-year-olds. But then we had some concerns that then they were then supplying alcohol to. We had a couple of cases they were supplying alcohol to young people as young as 12. So you'd have one person buying it and then passing it on to the groups that they're with.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Taylor, you have your hand up.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry. Yeah, about the conditions of the alcohol being sold to underage, 12, etc. Surely this is a offence which could be punishable by court, because if they're doing this, you know, why do they keep doing it? And that's to anybody out there. Sorry.
Thank you, Chair. I'll take that. Taking people to court for selling alcohol to underage is not simple. You have to have absolutely irrefutable proof in order to do that. The difficulty comes when you've got people buying it and then supplying it to other people.
Yeah.
The offences are all very difficult to prove. It's possible, and yes, we would prosecute if we had sufficient evidence, as I'm sure the police would, but it is gaining that quality of evidence that will stand up in court that can be an issue.
Thank you, Aileen. That was my question regarding the CCTV, because the fact is they have to have it on 24 hours a day. There's photographic evidence that they are dealing with it, or how do they do it? It's a question that we've got a problem there. We've had it for a long time. So how are they getting away with it?
And I think this was part of the issue, and because the CCTV wasn't working, we weren't able to go in and seize the evidence. That has been rectified now after a couple of visits recently.
Thank you very much, Aileen. That's marvellous. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, do you have any further questions for our responsible authority?
The one question that stuck out, sorry, Chair, the one question that stuck out was the fact that the visit was done after they told to remove the products off the shelf, and someone went in 3 minutes later and the product was still there. What happened to that case?
I believe that would have been down to the licensing team.
Yeah. At the visit, when it was discovered that the alcohol was still there, the officers stood and watched it being removed in front of them.
Thank you, Aileen. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And no further questions, Chairman.
All
David,
right.
do you have any further questions?
No, thank you. That's wonderful. Thanks for all the.
You've still got your hand up.
Oh, sorry.
That's all good. Aileen, do you have any questions for the police?
No, Chair.
Okay, obviously I have no further questions. The police have obviously added to their representation, so thank you very much for that. So with that in mind, I will now move on to summing up our our case. So I would just like to, obviously, because you don't have the applicant here to sum up, I will move on to the responsible authority. As say, if there's anything else that you wish to add to what's been said today, or any more to your representation.
No, I've got nothing further to add to the statement provided and today's representation.
Okay, thank you very much. John, do you have anything you wish to add?
No, I've got nothing further to add. I think Chris has summed up very well, and obviously Rachel's input has been very helpful too.
Yeah.
So we've got nothing more to add to what we've got.
Thank you, and yeah, thank you, Rachel. Appreciate you attending. Aileen.
Thank you, Chair. Summing up, I just want to say that the condition was volunteered by the previous owner. It wasn't imposed on them. They did actually volunteer it. What you've got here is anecdotal evidence of sales versus some test purchases that the applicant would tell you that they have passed, and that is the truth. They have passed 3 test purchases. They haven't appeared today because they sent us an email to say they believed they'd done nothing wrong. They had passed all their test purchases, and they just felt that they should have their license.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Lara, are you happy that we've covered everything?
Yes, it seems fine to me. I've got nothing to add.
Okay, and we're happy that everybody's had their say. Okay. In which case, the public part of the meeting will now conclude. The subcommittee will consider its decision in private with the Democratic Service Officer in remote attendance and the legal advisor who may be called upon for legal guidance. The decision of the Licensing Committee shall be communicated to all parties and made available on the Council's website as soon as we've obviously made our decision. But the prescribed time is 5 working days, but obviously we aim to get it out sooner than that. And obviously on the back of our decision, obviously everybody has a right to appeal our decision within 21 days of receiving the confirmation, and that would be to Weymouth Magistrates Court. So I'd like to thank you all for attending the meeting this morning. Elaine?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Could we just officially propose and second the exempt business, please?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, with that in mind, before I close the meeting, then can I have a proposer and a seconder to go into our exempt session?
So proposed, Chairman.
Councillor Taylor, you're muted.
I second that. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, with that in mind, we will now go back into a closed session. And I thank you all for attending, and bye-bye. Thank you.